hosted by Tony Gapperstone. Thanks for tuning in. It's showtime.
It's showtime, everybody. It's episode 324 of the BraveMaker Pocast. Hello. I'm Tony Gapperstone. I'm a writer, director, actor, producer. Let's just call it the multi-hyphenate. And I am based in San Francisco Bay Area, doing work in the Bay to LA, really wanting to educate, entertain, and create community with film and for filmmakers of all kinds. So if you're here today, we have been doing this for over 300 episodes, talking to makers of all kinds about how they are doing it, how they are finding a way, how they are finding sustainability, how they're telling their stories. And it is not always easy. And today's guest is doing it. She's got this mantra, think like a CEO. And I really appreciate that as someone who started out as an actor and had to find my way into the filmmaking space. It really is having a business mindset and being the master, the creator, the chief executive over your own life. Her name is Jodie Bentley. She's an actor, producer, working on her first feature film where she is going to be starring and producing and all the things. But she also founded something called Actor Insider. We've connected over the years. We've been on each other's things, and I'm excited to have her on the podcast. Jodie Bentley. Hi.
Hi, how are ya?
Good. All the things.
All the things.
Where are you today?
I am in my office in Los Angeles.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Well, let's jump in because you are a multi-hyphenate as well.
Yeah.
You have all the things going on. I see you doing your lives on Instagram. You've got your coaching. You are auditioning, not getting selected, then getting unavailed, then talking about how challenging it is, then booking. And I love it. I love all the things. Let's jump into it. Where do you want to start? Like, what are some of the things like you're really feeling? You're doing a feature film right now. Like you have so much going on.
So much. Yeah. Like the film is like super top of mind right now because we're meeting with our casting directors later today. And we just had a huge budget meeting yesterday. So yeah, the film is like where my head is at right now.
Good. Well, let's talk about that. So What They Left Us.
Yes.
Feature film. Tell us about the origin of it, where you are in the process, all sorts of things. I love feature film making and talking all of the details and stuff.
I love it too. I really do. And I'll say this is my second full feature. I've also produced a bunch of shorts.
Okay.
Yeah, I produced a lot in 2013, 2014 when I first moved to Los Angeles. I really at that point was like, I need to produce. I need to take control of my career. Everyone around me was like, you'd make a great producer. I was like, let's go. And then I did 4 films in like 2 years and got real burnt out. Got real burnt out. Got taken advantage of in my feature in a really bad way that I didn't see coming with line producers and stuff, and got really burnt out on feature filmmaking. And at that point too, because I was good at producing, people were asking me to produce their stuff.
Yeah.
I had to take a step back and go, wait, what are the stories I want to tell? Right. And because like one of the films I produced was a horror movie and I don't even watch horror movies. And I'm like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing? And if you love horror, great, go, more to you. But it wasn't what resonated for me. So I took a step back for a long time and I always knew that I'd get back to it. And I just didn't know what it was going to be. And then, they say, write what you know, right? And in 2018, I remember my dad called and he said, your mom fell out of bed. She's in the hospital. I don't think she's going to make it. And I flew to the East Coast. They were in Massachusetts. And I flew out there. My mom was in the hospital with hallucinations. 2 weeks later, my dad died. He had leukemia, didn't fully tell me how bad it was. And then my mom got diagnosed with Lewy body dementia, which is actually what Robin Williams had. And so that was about 3-4 years of my life dealing with all of that. Moved my mom to LA and took care of her and sold my childhood home, which was pretty traumatic. And then it was around 2021, end of 2021. I said, this is my story. This is the story that I can tell. I went through losing my parents probably much earlier than most people do. But I knew there was a story there. And I reached out to a friend of mine who had the same manager at the time. And he lost his dad a year after I lost my dad. And his dad also passed away from leukemia. And I reached out to him and I was like, hey, I have an idea for, it was actually a TV pilot at that point. It was a TV series. I was like, I have an idea for a TV series.
I love how things morph around and change.
So crazy.
Yeah.
I have an idea for a TV series. I want to, can we chat? I want to pitch you an idea. He was like, cool. So we hop on a Zoom. I literally like share everything that happened in my life for 4 years, my childhood, everything, you know. And then he turns to me and he says, well, I guess we don't have to embellish anything. And I was like, no, we don't. No, we don't. And we started writing, as I said, a pilot. And we kept getting feedback on the pilot because, you know, I don't like to create in a vacuum. So I kept getting, you know, coverage and people I trust to read it. And everyone kept saying, make the world bigger, make the world bigger, make the world bigger. And I was like, okay, I guess we can make the world bigger. And then we mapped out like 3 seasons and, you know, had the whole first season ready to go. And then I realized I don't want to make the world bigger. This wasn't the story that I wanted to tell. And I realized it was an intimate story about a dysfunctional family doing the best they can. And how can you live your own life when you're still caught up in your own childhood trauma with your parents as you try to help them go through the ending stages of theirs. And so we turned it into a feature and didn't look back. And now we're in late development. We have 2 producers on board. I have a director, I have my producer, my locations manager, my second AD is already on board. I got 2 interns in development. Now things are really moving along, but it felt so great to, I'll just say this. It was so cathartic for me to write. Like it was,
I love that word. Yep. Right? Yep.
Like when we first sat down to write, I said to my writing partner, James, I was like, I just need to get out the truth. Let's get out the truth and then we'll make it dramatic, you know, but I just need to write the truth of this. And, you know, we've been writing since end of 2021, early 2022. So it's been over 3 years. And man, it's been a huge healing process, better than therapy of my own story.
I love that. Yeah. Yeah. I think the creative process, I mean, therapy is great and we need therapy, but the creative process is therapeutic. It's an action. It's taking action. Because when you're in therapy, you're talking so much, right? You're talking. But when you're creating something with that, I feel like it's a great partner to the therapy process and getting things out. And then sometimes like what you're maybe doing is reliving and you're rewriting and you're revisioning. And what if it could have gone different? What would I have done? Or if I had more?
God, yeah.
Right? Like that's
even just the other day, because, you know, we have a meeting with our casting director is going to start putting offers out to play my parents. We're going after name actors to play my parents. And so I was really dissecting the role, character name of Patricia, who is my mom, you know, and I have my own version of that story of how it made me feel. Right. And then writing it made me understand her story more. And then like brainstorming and writing things yesterday, it was like made me cry again of like, yeah, this woman did the best she could with what she had, you know, and in the middle of it, sometimes you just can't see those things. So it's been, even now, it's still like, it's making me want to cry right now. Like it's still healing, you know, it's still learning and healing and growing through our own experience. So it's been really powerful. I
really appreciate that, Jodie. If you're just joining in, this is episode 324. I'm talking with Jodie Bentley. Jodie is an actor turned producer working on a feature film based on some true experiences. And I think for me, I really resonate and look to film and storytelling for processing my own grief. I lost my dad a little over a year ago now. So I've been in that space of the anniversary. And I think there is, for some, not for everyone, but there's so much, I think, understanding that can come when you write stories of things that you have been through that have to deal with family and parenting. Not every parent does the best they can, but most are trying. And as a parent now, I'm like, gosh, I was just telling my daughter who we're dealing with boundaries and limitations on social media. I'm like, I know it's really hard to understand this now. I really do. I know the pain and excruciating impact you feel a decision that I and your mom are making, but I really want you to see we love you. We want the best for you. And it doesn't feel like that right now, but I have the foresight to know, like, I was a kid once and I felt that same way about my parents. And now I look back and I have but that doesn't help a 14-year-old. They're like, whatever. You know? No. But in this space now, I really think, film has helped me have grace for my mom and dad. And I have a good relationship with my mom, and I had a good relationship with my dad. But sure, there's always these wounds that were there that now when they're gone, you think like, they had their process that they were dealing with, my grandparents, their parents. So I love to hear that, Jodie. Can you talk a little bit about just some of the specifics? Because a lot of our BraveMaker community, they're working on a feature film, trying to get a feature film off the ground. I'm working on my 4th feature, and still no easier than it was for my first feature. So what are things that you're learning in the process and the fundraising and all that kind of stuff?
First of all, I'm learning that no one is on your damn timeline. No one is on your timeline.
Yep.
And the patience that you get to have, it's that's first lesson.
Yeah.
But I think when I started, I'll say this, when I was producing in the past, when I first started, I think how do I want to say this? Like I wanted it to happen so badly that I was trying to force it, and I'd figure out a way. Like I felt like I was muscling through it. And there's such an allowance that I'm feeling now, like allowing the process to unfold and the people to find the project that's right for it. And I feel like every single person on the team right now has joined the team because they fell in love with the script. They resonate with the script. They see themselves in the script in some way, and it's a story that they want to tell. And they see the power in that story. And it's been really, I mean, of course I've been in action, right? Taking action, but I think just really allowing the right people to find the project, allowing it to unfold on the way it's supposed to. And that's been feeling really good. We just completed our business plan. So this is my first time doing like a full-fledged, like 40-page business plan on a feature. Yeah. So like learning how to do that has been a huge learning curve. But I think the biggest thing is like, people want to invest and people want to work on projects that they believe in. And that they can stand by, because this isn't a genre film, right? This isn't an action. This isn't a sci-fi. This isn't a horror. This isn't something people go, I love that genre. I want to do this. Like this has to be someone who they see this story. Their mom had dementia. Their dad had cancer. There was something in their family, right? That they can see themselves through it. We have a whole, my writing partner, James, he had a contentious relationship with his dad because his dad didn't accept him as LGBTQ. So like we have that storyline in there, we're just finding that the right people are finding the script, but also leaning into the messaging, right? We're really going after sponsors. That's a big thing we're going to be going after dementia organizations and grief organizations and things like that to get behind the project. So it's been really, just understanding like, I don't have to force this. People are going to want to be a part of this message or they're not. And I just got to keep planting the seeds out there. So.
I am in a group right now, a mastermind group. I know you have one. I host my own mastermind for creatives. I know you have one. I'm in one where I just show up, and it's it's for entrepreneurs and small business leaders. And this week we were talking about fundraising, and I was on. We have these hot seats. I'm sure you do these things too, where it's like you have a problem, you present it to the group, and I was just talking about. I actually like. I would say love fundraising. I really do. But it's still, even though I love it, there's still always that I have to ask for money lie that could come in. But what I hear you saying is part of what I feel like I'm always trying to absorb and tell myself is that I have something that is valuable. I have a good creative organization, project, film, fill in the blank. And the right people will see that.
Yep.
And I need to believe that, and I need to go out with that mentality that the mantra is the right partners are out there. I just need to ask and find them. And getting a no doesn't always mean rejection. I think I'm trying to reinterpret this in my life because it's just not being selected. Like every audition, I can't make it. Doesn't mean that they reject me as a person. Just I wasn't selected for that. Same thing with the investments, but it's so hard because we are creative people, and usually that means we're emotionally in touch and sensitive.
Right? For sure. I mean, that's, what I teach my actors, about business is how can we need the business, we need the artistry, and sometimes they work together beautifully, and sometimes we need to separate them, It's like going into these meetings, if someone says, no, the script doesn't resonate with me, I can't fall into a puddle on the ground. It's like, I have to be like, okay, great. Thank you for your feedback. I get to move on, like it's compartmentalizing, I think that, and, and also now being the actor, writer, and producer of this project, which I haven't done before.
Yeah.
The sensitivity level is really there. I think even more so, but if I'm right now, I'll say right now, knock on the wood, I'm feeling in a really good place of like, I'm going to find the people and it's okay if they say no, like I'll say this, like I've already had a huge actress read the script for the role for my mom. And she was who I had in mind when I wrote it.
Ooh, okay.
I know. And a friend of mine knew her, got the script to her. She read it. She ended up passing. And I turned to my husband while she was reading the script because I knew we'd hear by a certain date. And I was like, babe, I'm going to be devastated if she passes on this. I'm going to be devastated. And then my friend texted and told me that she had passed because she already had played a role like that and wanted to do other things in her career. And I was like, and I was shocked at myself, Tony. I felt, not that I felt nothing, but I was like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's a good business decision. And I have a 3-time Emmy award-winning actress who just said she liked my script. So I'm going to take that as a win and move forward to the next one and find the right person, And I think like, how can we always find the win in everything? Like you said, even if an investor, I go out to someone tomorrow for $250,000 and they say no, it's like, okay, well, they just weren't the right person. Let me just keep asking. This film is going to be made. And that's the thing I said from the beginning. I talked to too many of my own clients who are writers and they write and the script stays on their desk. And I'm like, I've spent 3.5 years of my life writing this very personal, cathartic script. It's going to be made. It's happening. So I keep saying it's going to be made in September of this year. And I know that's ambitious and it's doable. It's totally doable with the team I already have in place. We already are. Things need to work. Things really need to line up now. I mean, if I don't have any money raised by June, come back to me. We'll have a different conversation. But I really feel like I don't know. I feel really centered right now. And I think, such a part of this business is trusting in yourself and believing in yourself. Yeah. And it's so easy for that to waver and for that for falter. But please, I think it's an intentional thing to hold on to that belief that we must carry. And right now I feel really solid in that, and I'm just riding that wave right now.
That's beautiful. Beautiful perspective, putting it out there, making some declarations, some statements. People like the word manifesting. It's going to happen in September. Yeah. And then things don't line up by June, right? Then you realign. But I think it really is that sense of, I believe this is going to happen. I will make this happen. You're not just sitting around, like you said. And to all of you all listening and or watching, this is a business. It is a business, but it's also an art, right? And a craft. It's so easy to just lean into the art side and go, well, I'm writing it. It'll happen if it's supposed to happen. But the work needs to match the art. The I don't always like the word hustle or grind, but it is part of it. Like the going out there every single day. Please be careful. Like take care of your mental health. As Jodie was saying, she burned out at one point. I'm feeling that right now as I just feel like it's so easy to get burned out because this is the weirdest job ever. It does not, there's no, I was just telling somebody the other day, it's like, I know if I had another job where I had a nice salary and benefits, that would be so nice to have a salary and benefits, but I would be depleted and I would be burned out in another way.
Exactly.
Right? Sitting behind a desk. So I choose a job that's hard in this way that might burn me out in another. So it's just the weirdest thing, but it does require so much work. It does.
It's so much work. I started a Substack just to document my filmmaking journey. Because most of my posts are always about helping other actors and posting things to support people. And I was like, I want to have a place where it's just about me as a filmmaker, and it's been vulnerable to do that. But oh my God, you mentioned something that made me want to talk about it, and now I've forgotten. But yeah, I just think it's just vulnerable to have that Substack. But it's constantly making me show up and process my emotions and process my feelings around this, and going, well, what have I done today? What have I done today to move the needle? What email have I sent? I just need to send at least one email. What have I done? right? Let me do something today.
Let's talk about that CEO mentality, because that's your whole thing with Actor Insider. You know, you coach actors, you help people get the career they want while you're also doing it yourself. You're teaching from a space of, the ins and the outs. What are and by the way, you all, if you're listening and just jumping in, episode 324, this is Jodie Bentley, actor, acting coach, producer, making a feature film, doing all the things that we get and have to do in this business, multi-hyphenate. Some top things. You have a lot of stuff on your Instagram. We'll make sure this is in the chat as well. So if you're watching live and or on the replay, check it out. You're equipping people to take ownership, to think like they're running their own business, because we are a business. We are a product in the world. So let's talk about the acting side of stuff, because you have had lots of pins, you have lots of check avails. 2025 was a lot of kind of like waiting, hoping, and then didn't go where you thought it was. And then at the end of the year, it seemed like you booked something. Talk about some of that stuff that happened. You get to brag for a while here on your personal journey.
2025 was great with pins, lots of great TV auditions, and like that, and I know that that's a win, and I share that with my people, like that's a win. But when you get so close and don't get it, that's like that can be even worse, sometimes. But at the end of the year, I booked an episode of NCIS, which is coming out in April, and I booked a recurring role on Ryan Murphy's new TV series, The Shards. So I've already had 2 days of shooting on that, and they're shooting through May or June, I think. So I have those projects. You're very good. You're ready with all of this. So I booked those projects, and already this year I've had about 15 auditions, and I've had 2 audition for a lead in a feature that got sent to producers, and an audition for a supporting role in a feature that also got sent to producers. I'm still waiting to hear on those. So I feel like I'm in a good stride right now, but it's we all know it's a lot of work. It's a lot of planting seeds. Again, I'm going to just say that again. It's a lot of relationships, like the supporting role that I just got sent to producers. One of the producers on that project was someone who was my locations manager in 2013 on my feature film. And he was like, "Oh my God, I just saw your audition come through. I'm going to put in a good word for you with the director." I was like, "Oh my God." Like, it's so crazy how, if you do, you know who you are. Like, I'm a big advocate of branding, right? But like, if you know who you are, you know what you bring to the table, you know how to package that, you know how to talk about that, you know how to sell that, and you're good at keeping in touch with your relationships, like things will happen. Right. We don't know when they're going to happen. Right. You don't know when you're going to hit. I didn't know if I was going to book anything last year. I ended up booking those 2 things at the tail end of the year. But like, we don't know those things. I can't control those things. But all I can control is who I am, how I'm showing up, and the action that I'm taking and what I'm doing.
Yeah. I'll say the showing up and the relationship part. I want to just speak to everybody out there. The amount of time and work that requires. I want to encourage you to schedule it in, everyone. Schedule in. I mean, we all have a relationship with social media. You either love it, you hate it, whatever. It is necessary. It's a part of the business. It's business right now. It really, really is part of the business. And I am kind of astounded sometimes, and I'm trying not to get discouraged, but I'm astounded by how many people don't utilize it to keep relationships going, because it's so easy. There's you probably see all these memes. It's so funny that the memes of people who lurk and just scroll, but they don't like, or they don't comment. Like, it's so easy, right? Yeah. I have had these actors that I've had relationships with for years, and all of a sudden they just kind of blip out of the picture. And I'm like, why did you just blip? Did you leave the industry? And sometimes I'll message them, "No, just been busy." I'm like, okay, well, stay in touch, because I'm thinking of you. And the more I see you, the more I'm thinking of you. And when I have a role, it just sometimes works like that. Like, how many stories I've heard of actors who are in touch with the casting director, or they put an audition through and the location manager now happens to be a producer. Like, that kind of stuff is so real. But if you're not keeping up with those relationships in the most simplest fashion, like just commenting on here, send an encouraging DM, it does make a difference, and it can open doors and get you jobs. It does.
1,000%. And I think this is where people get hung up, though, is they think, "Oh, I have to be pitching all the time to these people." when it's not. It's just liking something and saying congrats and, oh, I saw you picked up this thing or did this thing. Congratulations, right? It's not about pitching. I have so many actors go, yeah, I don't reach out because I have nothing to say. I'm like, well, you don't have to say anything. It's not about you saying something you did. It's about you congratulating somebody or just being a part of their journey, you know?
That is so good.
So,
that is so good.
We feel like we have to pitch all the time, and it's not about that. And I will say too, I think look, we can fall out of touch with people, right? So I'll tell you this story. So a woman I know, Tony D'Antonio, she's a producer. She has a company called Shake the Tree Productions. I knew Tony when I lived in New York. We were both scrappy actors and filmmakers. I moved to Los Angeles in 2013. She was still in New York. We would meet up at AFM. I went to AFM in like 2012, 13, 14, and 15, I think. And we were both there pitching our stuff, right? And hustling, and we always have dinner. And then I stopped going to AFM because I got burnt out on producing. And I went back to AFM this year, like 10 years later, 2025, I went back 10 years later. And I'm, working my way through the AFM, and I open up the little exhibitor book, and there's Tony and her company as an exhibitor at AFM. And I just go knock on her door. And she was like, Jodie, oh my God, we had a whole conversation. It was so nice to connect, seeing how much her company has grown. And she's been exhibiting for like 3 years. And then she's like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, I just booked NCIS. I just did this thing. I have a script. And she's like, send me your script. I'd love to read it. Wow. She read my script over the holidays. In January, we hopped on a Zoom, and my current producer and I were looking for another producer to add to the team. And Tony read the script. She gets on a Zoom. She starts crying. She's like, I lost my mom. I lost my dad. The story resonated with me. She's like, I want to round out your producing team. And she brings all the sales and distro and finance stuff that my other producing partner and I don't have. Like, that's
dope.
And that was our relationship from 13 years ago. And yes, we lost touch, but I just want to say too, like, it's okay if you've lost touch and you feel like, oh man, I should have done that and I didn't, and I dropped the ball. Don't go into self beat up mode. Cause it's just about like, if you always show up, and you show up and you're like a good freaking human. Do you know what I mean? Like, Tony remembered me. She remembered my drive and my energy.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's all it takes too. So, it's amazing full circle how everything's happened. Even my director of this project, I've known him for over a decade. We lost touch for a few years, but we taught crowdfunding workshops together over a decade ago. And now has a whole crowdfunding company, and he's directed a ton of stuff. He has a film that's coming out this week with Alfred Molina that he directed. But that was like a decade-long relationship where we also lost touch and came back together. So it is about relationships. And so I just want to tell those stories because I know some people could be listening now and just going, oh man, I'm so bad at that. I haven't done that.
Mm-hmm.
But good even point. If you show up, you do good work, you're a good person, you can pick up the ball at any time and people will go, oh yeah. I remember Tony. I remember he's a good guy. I remember that.
Yep. I love that. I really think so much of what you were saying earlier too was like a reminder to me. We don't always have to be pitching. Yes, this is there's like the work and getting yourself out there, but just being a good human being and saying, hey, how are you? Or I'm happy for you. Gratitude, again, it's cliche. It's crocheted on your grandma's pillow, but the lifestyle of gratitude, when you are a person who says thank you, or I see you, or kudos to you, it goes a long way. Because as you started earlier, and maybe you want to touch on it, when you got burned out with that relationship with the producer, the line producer maybe took advantage. There's so much heartache that can come, not even just in the industry, but just humanity. We are people prone to sometimes make bad decisions that could hurt other people. And then if we don't take responsibility for them and reconcile, wow, like so much pain can happen in the world, but especially when you're working on things and this working relationship, no HR, there's so many things that can go wrong. But trying to be good and spread cheer and love and kindness, I feel like that's where I'm so drawn to. I will not want to work with somebody who's super uber skilled and talented if they're a jerk, right? I will not look past that. I'd rather go with someone who's got a growth edge and maybe isn't a 10 out of 10 in certain areas. If they're just like really good people and fun to work with, and I know I'm gonna have a great time, we can grow together. I'd rather work with that person, I agree. Yeah. One thing I've even set up from just the beginning of this whole process is I don't want
I don't want drama around this drama, right? We're doing a prestige drama. I don't need drama around the
That's
drama.
right. Keep the drama on the screen, right?
Exactly. I just want good people who understand this project, who really want to work. And, and it's tough because, you were saying about the, having the money job with benefits and that would be burnt out. But it's hard now, like producing, like you don't get paid. Like I'm not getting paid.
Nope.
I'm not getting paid to produce this movie right now. The goal is to be paid, but like so many of us are putting in our time for free, and that, you gotta, life is too short. I don't want to be surrounded by jerks when I'm not even getting paid to do this yet.
Gosh, that's so good. Well, I want to talk about the state of the industry and how you're feeling, because on top of all the work that we're doing to make these films come to life, and you're raising money and you're pitching, it's also like, I was listening to a podcast today, I think it was the Vanity Fair podcast, just talking about how Paramount is now going to be making the bid for Warner Brothers. And that's the studio system, which I feel like, I'm more in the indie realm, but that impacts so many other people in how things were structured. And we're seeing the entertainment industry change, so much, so quickly over the past 10, 15 years with streaming, and now what's happening with studios. I don't know, man. It just kind of scares me a little bit with how many people are going to be losing their jobs. I know a lot of friends who are struggling to find work, who have had consistent work as in writers' rooms and things like that. And here I am at the indie level. I'm like, I don't know. People I have people asking me, will our industry even be here 10 years from now? Will there be the type of opportunities? I believe, yes. I believe we have to keep working toward it, but I understand the concern, and I'm feeling it too.
Yeah.
How are you processing all of this? What's going on in your mind regarding the constricting that's happening in the entertainment industry?
I'm just ignoring it. No, I'm kidding. Can you imagine? It's been since 2020. I don't think our nervous systems have been able to relax. Like, let's just be real, right? Like that was sort of everything has been constantly shifting. And there's no moment where it's like, okay, here we are now. Nope. Okay. We're changing again. Okay. Like it doesn't feel like, I don't feel settled. Right. But I think it just goes back to sort of that old adage, right? Of you get to be comfortably uncomfortable. Like this industry is uncomfortable. It's always been uncomfortable. It's always been changing and evolving. It's just changing and evolving at a much higher pace and more consistently just changing and evolving right now. The merger scares me for sure, right? The amount of jobs that I think will be lost. My husband has been out of work since November. He is a production accountant for Disney. All of their stuff is shooting in Vancouver. So they're getting all their accountants in Vancouver. He did just get his show got picked up. But as opposed to being, 20 episodes or even 12 episodes, it's only 6 episodes. So, just seeing like the season orders being so much smaller. Disney actually has verticals that they're doing now. They're actually going down the whole vertical pathway. So that is like, God, verticals. I don't want to do verticals. Like, I'm completely resisting verticals. That might be the thing that, where kids TV goes. That might be where kids TV goes. That might be studios could start developing vertical arms and AI divisions. And we already know that's happening, right? So, I could choose to fall into despair because I want what was before, right? I think we all do. Or we could choose to go, this is evolving. How can I evolve with it?
Yeah.
And I don't think independent film is going anywhere. I don't think theater is going anywhere, right? So I think a lot of actors do theater. Yes, will some voiceover stuff be replaced? Sure, but not all of it. There's still voiceover that's happening. So I think we get to what I keep telling my actors now is we get to be really aware, right? If you were having blinders on and ignoring what was going on in this industry, you can't anymore. You can't. It's your livelihood. Because if that merger happens, the whole trickle-down effect is going to be real. And I don't know yet how that's really going to affect the indie scene. I know a lot of people are putting, our Mark Duplass, or, even Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, with their, what was the movie they just did? It was so good, and I watched it, and they were
Ripper. The Rip. That sounds right. Yeah.
And they were like, oh yeah, everyone on the crew everybody got back end points on that movie, right? Like everyone got a percentage of that film because they're trying to revamp indie film to, make it profitable or make everyone feel like they're part of something, right? And bringing that back. So, I just look at those bright lights and, Oh my God. Now my brain went completely blank again. Oh, the guy who got his own movie out in theaters.
Oh yeah, the Iron Lung.
Iron Lung.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
it's like, that's what I'm saying. It's like we got to pay attention and go, okay, this feels like despair over here, but look at what those people are doing.
Yeah,
Oh, and this is changing over here, but look at the mark those people are making. So there's still, I think it all comes down to a choice of how we want to view things. Well, what lens do you want to view things, And I've never been a pessimistic person, right? I call myself a practical optimist. So I see what's happening. I understand the repercussions of it, but let's find the bright spots through it and see how we can evolve with it, because humanity and telling stories and indie film and the arts are not going away. They're not going away. It's just it might be less that we're making. It might be harder competition that's out there, but it's not going away. Mm-hmm. So how can you evolve with it? Yeah,
evolve with it, and also finding the practical ways to be sustainable. I think there is a humbling in the idea that, hey, it is okay to also have other jobs that are in the service industry. Even though I get concerned because I'm going to restaurants where there are no servers and I'm just doing a QR code and nobody is taking my orders. I'm like, what the heck? But I'm telling this to my kids too, just finding the jobs that AI can't do and finding ways to keep the income coming in, because I think for so many people, especially, you're in SAG, right? So SAG actors, 85% of us are not making the minimum for insurance, which is around $25,000. I haven't had SAG insurance
I think
ever.
It's $29,000.
Is it $29,000 now? Wow. Okay.
That's a lot, and that's a lot.
It's a lot, right? So you have to be booking a couple things a year, just a couple things, be able
more
to.
More than a couple things. I mean, if they're guest star or co-star, you need at least like 8 things,
So wow, right? So it's that idea of going, can I be happy with my creative output if it's not making a certain threshold of money, right? Can I be, and I'm telling myself this, I am using my Instagram to do sketches. I am doing my own shorts and features independently. Are they taking longer? Yes. But I have got to find a way to go, I am being satisfied with my creative output, and I have work that is able to pay my bills, put food on my table, put my kids through college. Not easy, going a little bit different, going back to your earlier comment, call back to the patience that it requires, because things aren't going to happen overnight. But I really think the evolution, going back to what you just said too, is getting that creative storytelling itch scratched somehow. You must find a way to do it. And there are so many ways today: theater, social media, sketches, short films. I mean, the vertical stuff, it's happening, and you can do it. You can do it.
I know they're needing lots of writers for the vertical stuff, is what I keep hearing too. It's what, like, I remember being an actor in New York City in like the early aughts, and if you told anyone at that point that, oh, I'm an actor and a writer, or an actor and a producer, they'd be like, no, but what do you really do? Because you had to like choose one, because if you weren't just an actor, then they didn't take you seriously,
Right.
And now if I go, oh, I'm an actor, they're like, and what else do you do? Because they know, like nowadays, like you have to have your hands in multiple pots. When I have a client who comes to me and I'm like, well, what's your goal? And they say, oh, I just want to make all my money as an actor. And I'm like, well, we need to find you a new goal, because that's not going to happen. It's just not. Like I'm not even being whatever. It's just the truth. I don't make all my money from acting. Like even actors that we see, name actors, they don't make all their money from acting. How many of them have makeup deals, perfume deals, clothing,
tequilas, cookware?
They want that recurring residual things, because they know that acting money is going to go away at some point.
They know it. All of them. If the A-listers have side hustles, then we can have side hustles, right? And I can't help right now but invite and promote you all to know about the Creative Multi-Hyphenate Summit that we are just started. Now, Jodie, you and I met in person. We had met online first, but we met in person and I always want to give credit to Bella Hibbs. In Arizona, we went to a conference for actors, a one-day conference for actors. I got inspired. I'm like, I want to create something like that for filmmakers. And then it evolved into this idea that we are all multi-hyphenate. So I've got I've got Steve Canals, who created Pose. I've got Tiffany Thomas, who worked on The Mandalorian. I've got Dominic Colon, who worked on Boots. I've got D'Lo Lewis, who works with Ryan Coogler, Proximity. And all these people who are writer, director, slash, all of the things, because that's what it has to be these days. So April 11th in Redwood City, come out to the Bay, everybody. We have cool hotel, discounted rooms, and a full day and a cocktail party and all sorts of cool screenings and pitchings and stuff. But this is going to become, I think, the future for us at BraveMaker is just trying to help people expand their lanes, because you don't just have to be in one lane. Maybe someday a few select people, small percentage of people can go, I'm just directing, and that's great. But for a majority of us, we have to find a way to expand the portfolio of creativity.
For sure.
Let's end with talking about Actor Insider, because you have a program, you are supporting, you are coaching, you are helping people get to where they want to go. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. Gosh, yeah, I've been coaching actors since 2008. And yeah, my company Actor Insider, I named it that because I so many years in my 20s and even in my 30s, I always felt like the outside looking in on this industry. And I want actors to feel like they have a place they can belong and a place they can go. I know that's a big philosophy of you too, Tony. And I really help actors really, again, put on that CEO hat and understand that this is a business. And how can you set up, I love you use the word sustainable before, because it's so true. How can you make this career sustainable? And how can you set up systems and structures that you can fall back on as a business owner to have a sustainable business, even through the evolutions of our industry? I've had clients since, all through COVID and strikes and everything, be on a major career trajectory because they didn't fall prey to the negativity or fall prey to the whims of the industry. But they're like, no, this is my path and I'm going to keep taking these steps to do it. And I have systems to get there. So that's what I really instill in people. And yes, I'm doing a free 5-day training coming up March 16th through 20th called the In-Demand Actor Blueprint. Every day we're going to hit a new business skill. Every day you're going to get new actions to take. I have a whole workbook that goes along with everything. Every day will be a live Q&A with me as well to answer your questions. But I love what I do so much because I know that it works. I have clients in 32 countries now. I've helped well over 2,700 actors get where they want to go. And I just love this work so much because I think we're pre-programmed to think that I have no control. And there's so much control that you can have as an artist and an actor and a director or a filmmaker, whatever you are. There's so much control that you do have. It's about giving yourself systems and structures that support you to do it.
Dope. Gosh, actor-insider.com. 5 free days. Go to it right now. Sign up. The link is in the chat. Really cool what you're doing, Jodie. And
Thank you.
I definitely relate and feel inspired. They say find people that are doing what you want to do and surround yourself with them and find the people that are where you want to be. And if you don't have people around you who are igniting you and inspiring you to keep going, then you need some new circle. You need some new people, and you're cultivating that and you're helping to inspire that, which is really cool. And so I'm glad that we connected at the conference and have been able to do mutually encouraging things with each other's circles. That's really, really dope. So I love what you're doing. Congratulations. And if BraveMaker can do any more supporting of you. Oh, I wanted to end with this thing. Yeah. So I'm going to start this thing. Always trying to start things, but I want to do some.
I get you.
Fun. I want to help fund feature films. I want to help fund feature film makers. I know there's so much money out there, right? It's that mindset. There's money out there. People have money, and with BraveMaker, we're a nonprofit, so we do fiscal sponsorship. We help filmmakers raise money through nonprofit means. But I also think there's people who are raising funds, through equity and investor things that there's interest that I want to be inviting people to. So I'm starting at the end of this month that I think I'll do it every other month. I'm looking for feature films that are in the process that are this year, within the year, planning for production and trying to find, their last bit of money. Maybe we'll do eventually. People are trying to find their seed money, but I've got a few feature filmmakers that are going to be on the Zoom in March, and then I'll do it again in May. That said, I thought, well, come May, maybe we could have you and What They Left Us be a part of that. And I'm just trying to cast the net and say, okay, the minimum is, can you invest or give $1,000 to these filmmakers. I'm trying to draw people who have those kind of means to come listen to pitches, and then they get in the habit of going, okay, cool. I know every other month I'll hear 3 to 4 feature film pitches, and maybe I'll connect with one of them, maybe I won't, but I'm just trying to build up a pot of funding. So I just want to throw that out there to you. And anybody else watching, if you're like, hey, I have $1,000, I want to help make a feature film, get in touch with me. But Jodie, in May, let's see if we can bring you into the Zoom and see where it goes.
I love it. That's so great.
Cool. All right. Let's do just my last lightning round is one question. It's what has been your favorite thing of the week?
Brave faves. TV shows, films, books, songs, technology, clothing, podcast, food, and more. These are a few of our favorite people, places, and things. Brave faves.
All right, I will start. My favorite thing of the week. I've been trying to catch up with Oscar-nominated films, and this was a film that was not Oscar-nominated, but I felt like was in the talks, and it is the film called Rental Family, starring I'm totally blanking on his name right now.
Brendan Fraser.
Brendan Fraser, yes. I just watched it a couple of days ago, and I was like, I really like this. Is my style. And from what you were talking about with your feature, it's about family and dysfunction and reconciliation and love. And I really thought it had a beautiful premise. So Rental Family, I think it was on Hulu. I really, really liked it. If you like
amazing
dramas with some heart, this is definitely something I would recommend. It's called Rental Family.
It's on my list for sure. It looks really good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. What about you? Favorite thing of the week? Could be anything.
I have multiple favorite things already this week, but one thing my Hijack 2, the season 2 of Hijack.
Oh, okay.
And I watched season 1, Idris Elba. Both my husband and I loved it. And then I saw it was Hijack season 2. I'm like, okay, so season 1, he's on a plane that gets hijacked, and season 2, he's on a train that gets hijacked. This is so dumb. And then we started watching it, and I'm totally hooked. And that man is so good. He is so good. Yeah. So anyway, I love everything on Apple TV. Like I love all the Apple TV shows. That's right. It's all my jam. But I'm really loving Idris Elba and Hijack season 2.
Right on. There's so many good shows, and sometimes you just need someone to recommend a show for you. That's great. Awesome. Jodie Bentley, thank you so much for being on episode 324 of BraveMaker Podcast. Appreciate you. I hope we can connect. And I'll be in LA next week. We're doing a director's panel in Burbank. If you're
at the time that you're doing
this,
right. I looked on my calendar. I was like, oh, I can finally. Nope, I can't. So
one of the BraveMaker LAs will have to feature you and get you on these roundtables. Yeah. Thanks so much. And everybody go follow Actor Insider, Jodie Bentley, What They Left Us, so many things. And if you are an investor out there, how much are you what's your investor number you're looking for right now?
Oh, well, we're raising 1.5 million. This is a big.
Big. So if you've got one.
Oh, you muted yourself. What he was saying was, give me all your money. That's what Tony was saying.
Can you still hear me? Okay, good. My mic just unplugged. But if you've got 1.5 million, please go ahead and contact Jodie Bentley. And if you've got, half of a million or
if you
quarter
got
of a million,
150,000,
right?
you got 100,000.
Anything, right?
Yep. Yeah. We'll take whatever.
Yes. Awesome. All right, Jodie, thank you so much for being a part of this. Really appreciate you. Everybody else, we are a nonprofit, and we are supported by you, the believers, the makers, the people who support the arts. And we encourage you to go to bravemaker.com/donate today to become a donor, or you can just donate on your phone. Yeah. Take your phone and push the text app 44321. Use the word BraveMaker as a message if you're sending it 44321, and you'll get a link. And you can give $5, $50, $500, $1.7 million. We'll share it with Jodie. Thank you so much, everybody. But please consider somehow supporting the arts, independent makers. We need you. The arts, the entertainment industry is changing and evolving, and I think it's going back into the hands of the people who want to watch and absorb and take it in. And if we can leverage those those dollars into those things, we can continue to make great stuff. So thanks, everybody. Go to BraveMaker.com for information about our BraveMaker LA, our in-person meetup in the Bay, our multi-hyphenate summit, and so much more. And guess what? I'm doing this again in like 10 minutes with a new film called Baby Love premiering at Cinequest. So everybody else, brave stories change the world, and you are the story. I'll see you soon.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at BraveMaker.org. Like, subscribe, and share. To become a monthly donor, text the word BraveMaker to 44321 or go to bravemaker.com/donate. Thanks for tuning in.